Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Leilu Nishmas Chaim Oren. In Eretz Yisrael, it is 13 days in Omer. In America, it's 12. Rabbi Isai, good news. My flight got canceled, and I'm going to leave Chicago. Not today, maybe today. So we have a few guests here that came because they thought it's the last day. So you guys for coming. Chicago is a very interesting place. On Shabbos, it was 80 degrees here, and yesterday it snowed. Mount snowed. I took a picture. Came out of my house. There's like an inch of snow on the ground. So I'm very grateful to be here. It's gewaldic. Oh, don't worry, it's not my last day. Fooled everybody. I should have said it's my last day 2 weeks ago. Wow.
You never know when your last day.
Yeah, you never know. So you better come every day. I want to show you though what a day. I'm not saying every day of MDY looks like this, but this is somebody sent me a video of a live shir, not a live shir I gave here in Chicago. What it looks like in the Beis Medrash at 7:15 in MDY. 7:15 in the morning. Here you go. It's children and little big brother. Why? Shot is beautiful. Because at the end of the day, she put herself in that Messiah and she shouldn't have. But imagine if you're in a Messiah like that and you control yourself and you overcome it. Yes, you should. It's not bad. There's more people in the what do you call it? In the rerun or whatever you want to call it, than they have here live in Chicago. Okay, Be'ezer Hashem. Because over there they think I'm coming every day, and over here they think I'm leaving. Okay, whatever it is.
It's me a hologram.
Here we have. I just joined for Sotah. Thank you for the free Gemara. Having an awesome, life-changing time. The Daf keeps me focused on utilizing my time every day. I was able to learn the Daf with Yeshua on a paddle boat in Ganei Yeshua at the beach in Ashdod. Video attached. Here's the video. Shalom. By the way, based on today's Daf, do you know the difference between Shenemar and the Chsiv? Amazing Baruch from Vilna Gaon. Interested to know what it is. I think I heard it once, but I don't remember it. The Yom and Biron, Kiryat Sefer Yisrael. Here we go.
Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
We said, you saw the sky lit up. You want to notice that again? I'll show you again.
Good morning,
it's very dark.
Rabbi Isai.
Over here, this is from Menachem Epstein. He says, MDY is now mentioned in real estate listings. It says in the listing that it's only a few feet away from MDY. I'm missing the weekly Parasha Vart, says Tani Palak. Loving the Sotah Birkus Kahanim Sugya as Dirshu Mishnah Brewer Yomi is doing it right now. Maybe we can do a Dirshu Mishnah Brewer group. If not the Parasha Varts. We asked too much from you. By the way, it's my son Ezra's Hebrew birthday today. Yom Shai would have been 3. Very, very, very depressing, that line. Okay, we know what happened to Tani this year. Thank you again for everything, Tani Palak. And Ezra Abram says, you mentioned the question if you're allowed to take a haircut. Anyone interested? It's brought in the Kitzer, Siman Kuf Chav, Sivav. The Kitzer, that there's a 2 Kedushas the Shabbos. And I asked around, and now that's the Minhag in Yisrael. People are going to be shaving and taking haircuts this Friday, L'Kaved, Shabbos Rosh Chodesh. And Shmuel Kimchi says, amazing Mahalach of the Mei Yisachar. I'm not going to read it, it's very long, but I'll keep it on the screen here. Here we go. You can check it out on your own time. It's above my pay grade. I can't claim that I understood 100%. I read the whole thing. The Reish and the Dalet, the Dalet turns into Reish and Acher and kids, check it out. It is a very Tifa, Kabbalistic B'nai Yisachar. And here we have, I thought I'd continue, I like this email a lot. I thought I'd continue the baseball thing, attach a picture I took while learning the Masechet Sotah 15.5 years ago in the other cycle. If you look closely, it's almost where we are in Daf Chafei. I used to learn Daf Yomi back then, but ultimately fell off somewhere in Bava Basra and then didn't pick up a Gemara for 10 years. You didn't pick up a Gemara for 10 years. Here we go again. This April marks 2 years since I started learning with you and MDY. I'm Masechtas Yuma thanks to the encouragement from David Black. Ooh, David Black. That's 700 49 dapim and counting. 750 daf. Baruch Hashem will be able, Be'ezer Hashem will be able to complete the cycle this time with all of MDY. Thanks for your hard work and everything that you do. The team, Gavi, Zeitlin, RBS. Shkoyach Gavi. And finally, let me just read this real quickly and I can share the screen with you. The Koilol, thank you, Avrami. The Koilol, I saw that he changed the screen for me. Sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. The Sotah, sponsored by myself, Mr. Eli Stefansky, Leilu Nishmas Menachem Toporowitz, Menachem Toporowitz, Yehusha. I said, Mr. Eli Stefansky, Lahoitzin Melibam from that ad that I asked them a few times. I'm not upset at them. I am a little upset at them. It says Harav Hagoy. I asked them, and they're fifing me up, but it's okay if it helps them. Say it. So, Mr. Eli Stefansky sponsors Leilu Nishmas Menachem Toporowitz. It would be a lot better if they just said Magichir, because that's true. The other part isn't. The entire MDY family, Leilu Nishmas Avrahom, Mנשה ben Moshe Ahren, end of sponsor of the month, Leilu Nishmas Chaim Oren Moshe. The day is sponsored by three people. Sruly Bernstein with an E, Liulu Nishmas Shraga, Feivel, Leib ben Shmuel Avrahom, Leilu Nishmas Rav Victor Miller, Harav Victor ben Harav Yisrael Akoin Rabin Kol Yisrael, says here, whose Torah and Mussar continues to spread by Paris Khan Levin. We're gonna have to say our Victor Miller thing today. And by Baruch Furman. Baruch Furman, Refuah David Shlomo ben Chayed Boira, should have Refuah, the art is sponsored. For complete Refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. MDY sponsor MDY.com, sponsor Shirim. MDYchazar.com for a list of all the current Kahoot quizzes. I didn't know that. MDYchazar.com. And join Daf Yomi if you want to join the next volume of this amazing Masechta Sotah. Also coming up, Masechta Gittin, which is a phenomenal Masechta. Okay. Rabbi Isai, we're holding Daf Chof Aleph, which means we're 20 Daf into Sotah. That means my first year in Sotah was here in Chicago 20 days ago. Daf Chof Aleph, flying through Sotah, unfortunately. It's almost through, well, not halfway through, almost. So yesterday, we're talking about a woman who has a schos. She did some good mitzvah, some sort of deed, as the Gemara is going to discuss. She's not going to die right away from the water. So, the Gemara says, what sheet is it? Because we only found something that says 3 months, 9 months, and 12 months. Where do we find 3 years? Says the Gemara, Lo'ilam, 3 lines from the top of Chof Aleph, Amud Aleph on the top. Lo'ilam Rabbi Shmuel. In fact, it's Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel, who says 1 year, it could also mean 3 years. Vashkech Kro, the Omar, Betani, he found the pasuk. And he learned, Chsiv, Koyamar Hashem, Al Shloisha Pishi Edom. Basically, this is talking about baseball. This is 3 strikes. 3 strikes, you're out. Maybe on the 4th, you're out. Shloisha Pishi Edom. 3 chatayim. I'm gonna wait patiently for 3 times. So he already established a year. So 3 times a year is 3 years. So Hashem can wait 3 years for Edom, for the guy. So he'll also wait for the Jew 3 years. You have a woman who did a big avera. You won't kill her right away. Wait 3 years. Maybe you could die just to see what's going on here, to see the words inside. It's 4 lines from the bottom of Chaf Amud Beis. Okay, you don't have to turn the page unless you have an art scroll or something. Rabbi Shmuel Omer Shneim Asar Chodesh, 12 months. V'aval Pishein Leilu Davar Zeichel Davar. 12 months, and we just said 3 times 12 months is 3 years. And then he says, and even though I don't have a raya, I have some sort of hint in the Torah. Ask the Gemara now, going back to us. What do you mean it's a hint? Didn't you just learn it from a pasuk? It's not a hint, it's a mufurish pasuk. Says the Gemara, that pasuk was talking about Nebuchadnezzar. He's a guy. And says Rashi, and we see this all over Shas, and it's amazing. If you want, you can see it inside in Rashi. But Rashi says that Hashem punishes a Jew quicker than he punishes a Goy. Because as we know, it's better to be punished in this world than to be punished in the world to come. Baruch Hu gets rid of our affairs quickly. Guy, let me prolong it. Let me see. Not going to give him that kapara in this world yet. Doesn't have the din on it. So, Ravigna Miller says, this is your text. He says, you know why people constantly complain and they're unhappy with their situation and they wish they had better? It's because people think that they're here for 1,000 years. They're here for the long haul. If a person thought for a second that he's only here for a day, this is the famous mashal, he doesn't say it, but I'm saying it. I don't even know if he says a day, but if a person thought he was here for a day, he would learn Torah, he would do mitzvahs. He wouldn't even hang out with his family. If a person was here for a day, he wouldn't worry about what car he's driving, what house he lives in, where he's living. Just give me a Gemara, let me learn, let me go. It's because we're here for so long and we think we're here for so long. In our mind, we're here forever. The guy's 70 years old, he's building a brand new house. What are you, sugar? By the time it's done, you're already in the nursing home. He thinks, I'm going to live here forever. My family. So he's worried. Well, what color is this? And how come it's not like that? He has too many worries. Victor Miller. So sometimes you have a woman who's a Sotah, but she could survive 3 years. And here this launches us into an amazing, amazing sugya, which we have to remember the sugya. I keep on talking about it over and over. Is Torah the most important mitzvah? Is Avodah? Is Gemilas Chasadim? What is it? Once again, you have in Fursha Gemara over and over, line by line here. Schus Damai. What exactly did this woman do that was so special that she could survive 3 years? Elaim is Schus the Torah. You can say she learned some Gemara. She went to Daf Yomi Shiurim. Ha'ena mitzvah v'aisahi. She's not commanded to learn Torah, and therefore, what Rabbi say? Therefore, it's not going to save her. Yes, it has the ability to save a man, but a man gets more schar than a woman. She gets schar for learning Torah. A woman gets schar for learning Torah, but not on the same level as a man. Why? Because when you're told to do something, you don't really want to do it, and when you do it anyway, you get more schar. When you're not told to do something, it's more geschmack. So you get less schar. We don't know. Whatever we learn from Nebuchadnezzar, he's mitzvah to give tzedakah. He's mitzvah, so he has a schus toila. A person that's not mitzvah, we don't know the idea that it has that she could survive from it. From what pasuk do you see this survival? Says the Gemara, Ella schus the mitzvah. She did some mitzvah. Whatever women are mitzvah, she did. Schus the mitzvah mi magni kulehai. Says the Gemara, the schus of a mitzvah doesn't come to the schus of Torah. And the Gemara states with that for the rest of the sugya. There is no mitzvah in the world that is as great as Torah. Vatanya zu dorash Menachem Toporowitz. Okay, if I was in MDY, they probably would have broke out singing Kiner mitzvah v'Torah. Menachem sells a song about MDY. Tolak kosev is a mitzvah b'ner. Listen, look at the words. Kiner mitzvah. A mitzvah is a candle. The Torah, and Torah is art. I don't have to say this, but I'll say it anyway, just because my good friend Yehuda Freilach, and I argue with him throughout Shas. Gemilas Chesed is one of the mitzvahs in the Torah. We're talking about all the mitzvahs versus Torah. Okay, he told me mute. Fine. So any mitzvah, even Chesed, is like a candle. The Torah is art. It's complete light, and the Gemara is going to go into it. To tell you, maner eno megina elafisha, af mitzvah eno megina elafisha. Just like a candle lasts for however long it lasts, it's limited. So to a mitzvah. And the Torah is compared to light. Light never goes away from the world. Just like there's light and there's sun forever, the Torah will be there and protect you forever, as the Gemara is going to go into more. Finally, we get to this, the pshat of this pasuk. We said it over and over. In all the siyumim, you say this pasuk. And I always advise everybody, if you want to look good, just take this pasuk, repeat it 100 times yourself before you get up there in front of everybody, embarrass yourself. No complicated words. Just repeat it. And if you say it smoothly, you're like, wow, unbelievable. What does it mean? Finally, we have pshat. Just simple pshat and great pshat. When you walk, it's going to guard you. The Torah will guard you as you walk. And we're going to talk about the rest of the puzzle. When you're in this world, it will protect you. It's very obvious now. What does b'shach b'cha mean? When you go to sleep, forever, you go bye-bye. It will watch you after a person dies. Zumisa. And when you wake up in Tchias HaMeisim, it will. What's the lashon in the Art Scroll? What?
Advocate.
It'll advocate for you. Very good. The Torah will go there and say, look, this guy learned all these dapim, all this Torah. You can't treat him well. Listen to this mashal Boyce, and we're going to be discussing this mashal also at length. A person is going in the dark, complete dark. He's in a forest. And what is he worried about? A number of things. From the thorns, from holes in the ground, and from a different type of thorn. He's worried about the lions and the wolves and the bears, and from the robbers. B'kitzur, he has things that he himself could put himself into a problem. He could throw himself into a pit. He could step up by himself on a thorn. But there's outside, exterior things that he's not in control of. You have the Yetzer Hara. You have the robbers that come. You have the chayas. And he has a third problem. He has no idea where to go. Is it right, left, south, north? Where does he go? If he has a flashlight, he has a little candle, he has a mitzvah. The mitzvah, the light, could save you from you causing damage to yourself, from falling into an immediate pit, an immediate kite. So it will save you from some things, yes, but not everything. What about the bear that's lurking behind the tree? No clue. You have no idea where it is. Come from behind you and get you. What about the fact that you don't know where you're going? A little flashlight is not going to teach you where to go. You don't have light. You don't know where the water is. You don't know where any direction is. So, but he's still scared of Chayro, and he still doesn't know where he's going. But once the sun comes up, now he's saved. He can save himself, protect himself from the Yetzer Hara, from the Chayro, from the robbers. But he still doesn't know, and he doesn't know where to go. But once he comes to the fork in the road, the Gemara is going to explain what that is. A mitzvah is not strong enough to overcome the oynish of an aveira. When a person does an aveira, that aveira will put out the schar of the mitzvah. The guy gets 100 points for shaking the lulav, and then he does an aveira. The aveira will overcome the 100 points. You won't get those 100 points. The noise is a little disturbing. Is it possible to? A lot of water won't be able to put out the love. So let's see this. What's that doing there? Oh. So Eviyani el Beis Hayoyin Rashi brings this pasuk. This is in the beginning of Shir Shirim. Brought me to the house of wine. House of wine is Torah. B'digloi olay ahava. You see in the house of wine, when you learn Torah, says Rashi, side, there's love. And Mayim Rabim, that a lot of waters, a lot of Averis can't extinguish the flame of Torah. Torah is there forever. You learn the Daf, it's there forever through thick and thin, through even Averis. Amar Rav Yosef, mitzvah beaten the dasik ba. A mitzvah when you're, so we have a pshat now. We're trying to have a pshat. Mitzvah beaten the dasik ba. This is the famous line of the Gemara. When you do a mitzvah, magno matzla. It protects you from Yisurim and also protects you from being chayt in the future. So the Yisurim, the car accidents, the Yisurim of life, it protects you from. That's a mitzvah, protects you. And also protects you from Averis. But when you're not doing a mitzvah, Aguni Magna, it will protect you from Yisurim. Atzuli loimatzlo, it doesn't protect you from the Eitzahara. Torah, but Torah on the other hand, bein bidden dasik ba, bein bidden the loyasik ba, magno matzlo. So when it comes to Torah, it doesn't matter even after you're closed with the daf, you're done with the daf, you're done with Torah. It protects you from Yisurim, for sure. It protects you because even a mitzvah protects you from Yisurim, but also protects you from the Eitzahara in the future. So Rashi points out here that Aveira could extinguish a mitzvah now would mean that it's not magim from Yisurim. It means that it won't, mechaba means that in the future, like that's what I explained before, that in the future you lose your schar. You're not going to get schar in the future. That's what it means, mechaba. Torah. Bein bidden dasik, bein bidden dasik, magno matzlo. Maskulo, rabo, ravo, elamato, doigi b'achi toifel, milo yask about Torah. You're telling me that if a person learns Torah, so he won't sin. So whatever happened to doigi and achi toifel? These are two people that ain't loyim. There's only, I think, 4 people in the world that weren't kings, just people that are not zoichet ha'olam haba. Doeg and Achitayvel are 2 of them. So Doeg, he spoke against David HaMelech, and because of him, Shaul went and destroyed Noivir Kohanim. Terrible sin. What happened to his Torah? Big Talmid Chacham. What happened to Achitayvel's Torah? Big major Talmid Chacham, and he went with Avshalom, David's son, against David. How come it didn't protect him? Amayloi, Higina Layu, why didn't protect him? Elo Maravo, Torah. Torah, when you're in middle of learning Torah, it protects you from Yisurim, protects you from the Eitzahara. Once you're not learning Torah, Aguni Magna, Atzuli Limatzla, it will protect you, so he goes down to Madriga. It will protect you from Yisurim, it won't protect you from Eitzahara. Mitzvah, whether or not you're doing a mitzvah, Magna, Aguni Magna, will protect you from Yisur. So, the mitzvah and Torah, both mitzvah and Torah protect you from Yisur. But Torah will protect you from a sin right now, whereas a mitzvah won't protect you from a sin even now. Taisus says, I think it's on this, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't look at it again, but Taisus says over here that a Talmid Chacham, I think he says it on this, that a Talmid Chacham is constantly learning, and is constantly thinking in mitzvah, in learning, wherever he goes, they think, Talmid Chacham think in learning, and Memela, it has a protection from Averis all the time, because they're thinking in learning. Oh, now we're coming to a very, very important Gemara. Ravina Amar Loilam Schus Torah. What did the woman do? What's protecting her? What's protecting her is Torah. She heard a couple Daf Gemara. That's what's protecting her. And if you say, but at the end of the day, she's not commanded to learn, so it doesn't have the same power. Says Gemara, no, it's not the Daf Gemara that she learned. Yeah, here's a Shaila. Ask your Shaila. What does a woman have more schusim for? If she learns a Daf Gemara, or she sends her husband to learn a Daf Gemara? Where does she have more schusim? Huh? L'chayra, sending her husband to learn Gemara, she has more schus. Not only that, is that there's I think it's the Netziv. The Netziv says that, so first we'll see in our Gemara Mefurish like that. Was another knech that when a woman sends her husband to learn Torah, she gets even more schar than her own husband. So first of all, in her own schusim, she gets more schusim if she sends her children to learn, sends her husband to learn. And she's taking care of other stuff. But between her husband, let's say she sends her husband to Kyle, go learn. Go to Daf Yomi, go for an hour. So if the husband learns the entire hour, so then they'll be equal. But what if the husband looks at his cell phone in the middle, has 3 minutes that he's texting in middle shir, she gets the schar for those 3 minutes and he doesn't. He didn't learn those 3 minutes, but she sent him for the whole hour. So in her head, she sent him to learn. So she gets that schar. It's very interesting. That's it. So even though the schar wasn't there for the husband, she gets that schar. Fine. Next, look what the Gemara says. This is a famous Gemara. Nashim b'may zachyan. What? In what schus is a woman zoicha? What do you have? How many minutes? How many? It's 27. Got it. It's because of Torah, not because she learned Torah. You're right that she has no command to learn Torah. Ba'agra the Mekarion, in the schos and the schar that the Mekarion are misnamed benayu, because her children they read the Chumash and they learn Mishnah. V'notron lahu legevrayu, and they wait for their husbands at the Asim Midrasha. When their husband says Rashi, go out of town. In those days, it was much harder than today. Today they go for an hour and they come back. In those days, they used to go out of town for a month at a time, sometimes a whole year. The Gemara says till Yom Kippur, and they're waiting. And the Asim Midrasha, Miloi Palgon Badayu. Aren't they going to? So Palgon, plag means half. So I thought it means half. I looked at the art scroll. He says a different. He says they take a share. They take like some of the schar, but according to the Netziv, it's even more than half sometimes. Okay. So I saw once a pshat. It might be over here as well. What does it mean that they wait for their husbands? Wait for the husbands. Because sometimes you have a woman, I forget who says it, some Rav, I might have heard it in a speech or something. Some women, if their husband goes to learn, well, the husband is, let's say, learning in the house, in a room, and then something important comes up. Hey, the kid is sick, you have to make an important phone call. So they don't hesitate, they go knocking on the door. We have a problem. Could you make this phone call? He's like, I'm in all Daf, so no, but I have to do this phone call. But some women, they wait. They're not trained. They're waiting. No matter what, they won't disturb the husbands while they learn Torah. Torah is Kodesh Kadashim. So it's a lot. I had experience. I was many months in my Shraga's house. He's a surgeon. And there's hardly anything that my Shviger, Zol sie sein gesund und stark, will call up her husband to come home. I don't think he ever came home in the middle of the day. This is no such thing. He's a surgeon. The surgeon has to do surgery. Yeah. What's more important than surgery? The guy has Yena Machla on his throat, and he's doing surgery. So you're going to call him up because one of the kids is sick? Well, give the chayetz already. You're going to call him because the dry cleaning is not ready, or what are you going to call him? What's so important? As I tell it to the guys in the car, sometimes I say, guy, where are you going? My daughter, she has an appointment. You serious? That's more important than the car. So when you have that kind of chashivas, that this koyle, my husband is learning no matter what, I'm not going to call him up. That's the schar of waiting for your husband. Not regular vray. Okay, Zog the Gemara. So again, the Mishnah says that if a woman is a Sotah, she might not die right away because she had a schos. What was the schos? Because she sent her kids to learn Torah. And Lamashal in Ramah Bet Shemesh, over it's not like that, but in Ramah Bet Shemesh, where the shir is at 7:15, and 80 people show up in the morning, many of them have young children, and it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that the women take to get the kids ready in the morning, whereas their husbands used to help them. Sometimes, at least they pretend I can't. I help my wife with the breakfast. Sure, until the daf you weren't taking care of. There's a daf, you have to take care of the kid. Yeah, I bring them to school. It's true. You see fathers taking the kids to Gan and to school, and the women, the mevater. Well, that's why we do the shir at 7:15 so they can get home by 8. But recently she was longer. Fine. When that's chus that they send their kids off to cheder and let their husband at the same time learn Torah, go to the daf. They chaparayim both mitzvahs, and in that schos, sometimes it's a big schos, and usually it's very great. And even in our case, where the woman is a rasha and she did an aver, she won't die for 3 years sometimes because of that schos. My parashas drachim. In this mashal that we just said, person has a candle, I'll save him from some stuff. Person has a large, if it's light outside, save him from the chayes rois. And when he gets to the fork in the road, what happens? When a person dies, he's at a fork road. He knows exactly where he's going. He's going to the right. He's going to Gan Eden. Everything is great. Once a Talmid Chacham who knows what's right and what's wrong, and he has the proper Yiras Shamayim and Yiras Chet, he's good to go. He doesn't have to worry. Because the first pshat is until he dies, he always has to constantly be worried that he might be chayta, like the Yochanan Kohen Gadol. He can't be al-tam v'atzimcha di'yomaischa. Once he dies, he realizes he's going to the right. According to this pshat, once he achieved the level of Yiras Chet, he doesn't have to worry anymore. Once he realizes that his Torah is straight, his mind is straight, he knows all the halachas, and the paskin like him, then he has nothing to worry about. As we learned, that Avera has the power to extinguish a good mitzvah that he did, and Avera cannot extinguish Torah. Rabbi Menachem darshan this pasuk like he got it from Har Sinai, from Hashem himself. If Rishaim would understand this concept, they wouldn't chase David HaMelech. D'chsiv leimar Elokim azavu. Here's the full pasuk. Leimar Elokim azavai ritfu v'sifsu. Chase down David and catch him. Ki ein matzil. It's important to see, that's why the Gemara says v'goymer. They thought that because David HaMelech had a story with Bathsheba, that Hashem is not going to protect him. Ein matzil. Hashem won't help. So we could now take advantage. He's vulnerable. Let's get him. Let's get him when he's weak. What did the Chabra boy say? David HaMelech learned a lot of Torah. And even if it's true that he sinned, because but even if he sinned with Bathsheba, all that Torah that David HaMelech learned, all the Tehillim, the Torah, the Tehillim that he composed, the Torah, is going to save him. You can't be right of him. You can't get him. My Dorosh. So what did they do? You shouldn't be seen with you a Dvar Erva. And then they felt that the story of Bathsheba was Dvar Erva. Even if he sinned, I'm sticking that in. Even if he sinned, the Avera could extinguish a mitzvah. It could extinguish the Gemilas Chasadim that he did. It could, whatever he did. But it cannot extinguish the Torah that he learned. My boy Zevuzalai, the continuation over there in Shir. Omar Ola, like a Shimon Achi Azariah. So Rashi says Shimon was brought down in the first Mishnah. Where does he say? In Zvachim and Chulin, I don't remember anymore. Look in Rashi if somebody sees it there. Rashi says the first Mishnah, Zvachim. 2 lines from the bottom. Mishnah Kamaisa the Zvachim. Shimon. It's not Reb Shimon. Shimon. A beautiful partnership of Yisachar Zvulun between 2 brothers. A beautiful partnership of Yisachar Zvulun between Yochanan and the Nasi. Elo ke Hillel v'Shevna. Hillel. Can you imagine if you were the partner of Hillel? What a wasted opportunity Shevna, the brother of Hillel, had. He could have been the partner with Hillel. And he chose not to. And when you miss out on an opportunity like that, you can't go back. There's no going back. So even if you offer somebody $10 million, you go over to Reb Chaim Kanievsky and say, listen, Chaim, here's $10 million, give me half your schar. It doesn't work. What you could do is, you could go to Reb Chaim Kanievsky when he's 30 years old and say, here's $10 million, I'm your shachazon for the rest of your life. That works. You can't come afterwards. So that's boys, Yevuzuloi. It's an embarrassment of what? Hillel Osek B'Torah, Shevna Avadiska. Shevna's brother was a successful businessman. And he should have supported Hillel. And we know Hillel was so poor, he couldn't even make it into the base medrash, the whole thing, extremely poor. Let's divide my nechasim. You get half, I get half, and I get half your Torah. Yotza Baskel V'Amra. Heavenly voice came out. Imiten ish is kol haim beisoi. It doesn't matter. You can give all your fortune to Hillel. You're still not going to get his schar. Daf Aleph Amud Beis sponsored. Latzlacha v'ayilei ben Eli Stefansky Eli Bas Bracha and Latzlacha ben Magachir. The members of the HBA Group and their families. Amen. So there's a beautiful thesis here. It actually goes on the Mishnah. It's glad to see maybe inside. We could do it from 5 lines down. But Torah Shala is Rebbe Lazar. A very wealthy woman asked Rebbe Lazar, they did 1 Avera and they're dying 3 types of death. Amar Lo, Ein Isha Chachama Ela Befelach. Your job is knitting. You have no business asking me these kind of questions. Go back to the kitchen, bake a cake, Shalom Yisrael. Omar Hurkanus B'nai, Hurkanus tells his father, Rebbe Lazar, because you don't want to ask her, answer her question. She used to give me a tremendous amount of tzedakah, and now you got her mad. Just answer the question. He says Taisvas, he says to him, Yisrafu Divri Torah, Leimasru Divri Torah Lenashim. Okay. That's one shita. What are you doing here? Chaim, I didn't recognize you. I only recognized you when I was learning this Taisus. And I chapped who you were. Unbelievable. Took me how long? 10 minutes standing here. Psh. Simi, you brought him in. What's going on? Where is he? Simi left. He left? You came in. Okay. Givaldig. That's one way. Says Rebbe Eliezer, not Rebbe Lazar. Taisa brings Rebbe Lazar. Rebbe Eliezer says if you teach your daughter Torah, it's like teaching her znus. Tiflus hakotayach, what Torah is znus? Elo eima kilu limda tiflus. It's as if you taught her znus. What does that mean? Says Rashi that Torah has a lot of chachma. It gives us a lot of tools, and when you use the tools in the wrong way, it could cause a lot of damage. There was a Gemara, I don't remember exactly where, that the Gemara says there was a woman who whispered to her daughter, says, you have to sin more b'tznius. Your chet is not tznius enough. People are going to find out about your chet. She says, be like me. I have 10 sons, only one of them from your father. Otherwise, the father is listening to the whole conversation. Okay. So when you teach somebody armumias, you teach him certain chachmas in the Torah, she could be more adept at being over averis and not and making sure people don't find out about it. I said this a few times. I'll say it again. That in real estate, my own personal thing, I believe that I was able to use certain chachma that I learned in learning Gemara, especially analyzing a sentence of a person. Like when a person says a certain thing, so we learn how to, did he mean this? Did he mean that? Why did he use this word? He should have used another word. If he used this word, he probably meant this. Oh, so this guy is desperate to sell his piece of real estate. I could get him for a better price. Or this guy, there's no way he's ever going to go down because he's being serious about it. He said, just to understand people. You take that chachma and be conniving. And if you look around, I think you see a lot that from people are very good at business, and sometimes from people are a little bit too good in business. They're a little bit too chachmadik, a little bit too conniving or whatever, and that's not good. To use the tools in the right way, in the right place. My time in the Rebbe laws. Listen to this. When the Torah, the Chachma goes into a person, Nichnasa imoy armumis. The Gemara says it go a certain trickiness, armumis, like certain Chachma goes in there, and that Chachma we don't want to teach girls. Although the Chafetz Chaim says that in our generation is different because, especially if the Chafetz Chaim knew about what we have in our generation with the internet. He says in his generation that a lot of girls, a lot of women are reading different newspapers and different things, and they're getting different ideas. That's very kedai to teach them Torah, so they have a good, strong base in Yiddishkeit. Whereas in previous generations, they didn't have that kind of thing. So there was so much more on the father, and the father said, "This is it." But today, when a girl goes on the internet and sees everything, I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about just reading stuff. So she needs to be a lot more established in Ashkafa. Zog the Gemara, V'Rabbanon ani chachma ma'abed be'lei. What does Ben Azai do with this pasuk? That's not good to teach a girl Torah. Sorry, ma'abed le'lei. Me'bar le'lik the Rabbi Yosef B'Chanina. The Omer Rabbi Yosef B'Chanina. Ein divri Torah miskayimim elo b'mi shemamid atzmoi orum aleim. This is an amazing Gemara. Torah stays and sticks with somebody that makes himself naked with them. Says Rashi. We have to see Rashi. Shepirish mikol hasakim. He doesn't do anything. He just concentrates on Torah. He's naked from business. A person becomes poor and doesn't have anything. Like this guy, literally today, speaking to a guy in the koil, he told me that he was so busy with the test because they're taking on this Thursday. They already took, he took, I don't remember, come out, I think most of Shas. Gemara Rashi places on the Vishinantim test, which was yesterday, I think. And now they're taking the Dirshu 1,200, you can't even imagine what that means. 1,200 daf test this Thursday. The amount of dafim that they're learning a day, and they don't just cram the last week, but I'm saying, so right now, he said, he didn't have time. He's a koil guy, doesn't have money. He didn't have time to go to the Chalukat Mazon. That's where they give out all the food, very, very discounted price. I couldn't go. He wasn't complaining to me. He was just telling me how pressured they are learning now for all these tests. And I told you, they have a 30 daf test on Friday, which is very hard because you're right, it's a lot less than 1,200. But I used to study for those Dirshu tests. They took days of just chazering because they get you on the smallest diuk and Rashi, the Dirshu guys. Then they have 120 daf tests, which is very difficult. But the main thing is 1,200 daf tests from brachas till Sotah. So he didn't have time. He was chaysekal. He could have gotten all those meat and all this stuff for peanuts. I have to concentrate on the test. That's it. I believe it. Fine. Next. Oh, and the next part. Look at the next part in Rashi. Loshen acher shemeisim atzmoi orum oleo. Shemarim, she's kind to us. Likboitz al yad. Likboitz al yad, we learned in Erev, means a person to take a little bit of Torah and chazer it many times over until it becomes part of him. The little might make haladam. That's what it means. Learn, taking information from people that know more than you, and chazer a little bit at a time, and like that, the Torah will be miskayim in you. Says the Gemara. Shenemar ani chachma shochanti arma. It's a lashon of arum. Yeah. A person has to put himself as if he's a nothing in other people's eyes. I'm a nobody. Then the Torah means the lotion of nothing. Timotze, it'll be found. Rabbi Shoy Roitze Isha, Michael Amar, Roitze Isha bekav v'tiflus imoy mitishas kabemu prishos. Check this out. So there's a beautiful thesis here, right? Because it says in the Mishnah, a woman would rather have intimacy with her husband and just a little bit of food, a kav of food, than give her 9 kavim and nothing. So Tosfos says that the halacha is a regular husband. He goes through a whole cheshbon. I'm just making it very, very to the point that anybody could understand without looking at the whole cheshbon here. A regular husband should give his wife 2 kav of wheat a week. Says Tosfos, but if a husband is a moired means he tells his wife, I don't want to be with you, right? We know a miredis, but there's something called a moired. A moired has to pay her 3 dinner. He has to add their ksuba every time, 3 dinner. It says Tosfos, 3 dinners worth 18 kav. It's a beautiful cheshbon. 3 dinners, 18 kav. But a wife would much rather her husband not be a moired, not take the 18 kav, and take 2 kav, which is 18 kav is 9 times more than 2 kav. That's what the Gemara is saying here. She'd rather have 1 kav and be with her husband than 18 kav and not be with her husband. Chassid Shoita. So I said when we're learning the Mishnah, we said we're going to explain everything. Beautiful. Chassid Shoita. What does it mean? A guy is such a chassid, such a tzaddik, but he's a big tippish. Kigoin, the Tava Isisa ben Nahara, he sees a woman drowning. I can't even look at her. It's awesome for me to look at her. I'm going to save a woman. Let her drown. Tais brings that it's also going on a little kid drowning, and the guy says, let me take off my tefillin first before I jump in. So he spends that extra 2 seconds to take off his tefillin. That's a chassid shaita. Hechidami Rasha Aru. What's a conniving Rasha? Amr Beichnan. Ze amatim dvarav l'dayin koydem shiyoboy baldin chaveroi. When you walk over to the dayan, hold on, let me show the olam, not just you guys. You walk over to the dayan, and before the other guy has a chance to be there, you tell him your side of the story. It's very, very problematic. Why? Because the nature of a human being is to accept what he hears first. Rashi says, or Shmuel talks a lot about it, that the muskal rishon, the first thing that comes to your head, that somebody feeds you, the nature of a human being is to believe it and stick with it. To get that first thought out is very, very difficult. Says that's the tragedy, the tragedy of human beings, that they believe the first thing that they hear and they don't want to, it's very hard to change them. And I was thinking about the media. That's why they're so powerful. You hear it, I saw it on the news. I'm a furish TikTok, I'm a furish dumb video somebody sent me. So it has to be. This is not healthy, you're going to die from this, and you're going to then to take it out and to change it, it's a different problem. So here, this is what, I did it too fast. Hold on, I got to do it slow. My bad. Of course, that's the Rebelli, this guy mamish ripped me off. That's the muskal rishon. Now, what the Gemara says, Rashi brings the pasuk, Lo sisa shem hashav. This is, we say shem hashav, that by telling a dayan and trying to convince him before that the entire is an isser d'oraisa of Lo sisa shem hashav. Listen to this. If a person is let's go over here. If a person is an ani, so he's eligible to receive the Matas Aniyim. What are the Matas Aniyim? Oh, let's do it again. If he in his bank account he has 200 zuz, he can't get Matas Aniyim. So what does this Russia Aram do? Check it out. He fills up his bank account, so he goes to 200. Once he goes to 200, he's not eligible for leket shiklim peah. Leket is the guy when he's reaping the field, he drops some of the stuff. Okay, these guys, broken legs, they dropped. This is shikha, forgot it there. Where are my glasses again? Okay. And peah is the corner of the field. And of course, remember because of the pace. Okay, fine. So, but he had 195, and you're a Russia, and you give him that extra. You think you're acting like a big tzaddik. You're a chassid. Oh, here's a poor guy. Let me give him $5 more. Hey, but the $5 more puts him over the top. You know, like a lot of people, they it happens all the time. I hear this. All people tell me, you can't pay me that amount because if you pay me that amount, it's going to throw me over the top. I'm going to have to pay. I'm going to put me in another bracket of taxes, right? You understand what I'm talking about? There's people, no, seriously. So they rather get less money from you, sometimes under the table, whatever, but they rather get less money from you that you don't throw them over the top. Over here also, you give a guy a little money and that puts him over the top. Why does the guy do it? Because the guy doesn't want him to take his stuff. He wants to give it to his family. He has a daughter-in-law that's also aniyah. So he gives this guy money. Now you can't touch my fruit, my matas aniyim. My other one is going to take it. It's not. If you have 200, you shouldn't take leket shikol peah. Also, meiser ani. Now we had over here. Okay, it's too far to get to. But meiser ani is in years 3 and 6. You have to give meiser ani. Should we show the chart? Everybody knows the chart about peh, but it doesn't matter. We'll do it anyway. Oh, here we go. The chart. If he had 200 minus 1 zuz, even 1,000 people give him $1 million, he's allowed to take it. It adds up to $1 million. Right now, I'm an ani, I can take it. Afterwards, I'm going to be usher. The Russia is a guy who gives bad advice. It's good advice, but it's bad advice against the Torah. If the father left over a tiny little something that the Yosam, there's not enough to feed the boys and the girls get it. What do the boys do? They knock on doors. So a guy comes and whispers to the boys, listen, if you sell this quickly, you can take the cash and Bezdin can't do anything about it. But once Bezdin gives the psak, it's too late. That whispering to the Yisayimim messes up the girls, and that's a big Russia. It says that if they sell it, it's great. Another case. You have a guy who in his will, he said, I'm giving everything over to Reuven when he dies. And when Reuven dies, he should give everything to Shimon. And when Shimon dies, he should give everything to Levi. He wants everybody to enjoy it. But Shimon, or Reuven, I should say, the first guy that gets it, has the right to sell it. And if he sells it, Shimon doesn't get anything. Same thing with Shimon. So when you whisper that idea to him, that's a big Russia. Why? Because the guy dying, the wealthy guy that's giving Yerusha to Reuven, he said it specifically. He wanted it also to go to Shimon. He wants all 3 people to have enough from it. He doesn't want Reuven to sell it and get everything. Memela, that's a Russia. Let me see if there's anything else. That's it. Okay. This is a guy that pretends that he's a big tzaddik. He says, look how great I am. I do this, I do that. But he's hiding all the riches that he does. He doesn't want people to know that he's a Rasha. I love this guy. For himself, he eats cholav stam, whatever. I'm sorry. Yeah, he eats cholav stam. But when they come to ask, he says, no, it's awesome. You shouldn't eat cholav stam. So you're making for yourself. And you're telling other people to be machmer. That's wrong. If you're going to give a psak to somebody else, you should also do that. Finally, this is a person that learns the Torah and he learns Mishnayos, but he doesn't, says Rashi, learn Gemara. So look at the last line over here. Rashi says, everybody thinks that he's a big Talmid Chacham. Look, he's reading Mishnayos. He also knows the Gemara. And this is the punchline. They give him kavod like Talmid Chacham, as if he's a big Talmid Chacham. And the fact is that he doesn't know the basic Gemara, and they shouldn't be giving cover, but he's faking it. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Shraga Chaim.